Alright, finally getting to the recap. Very sorry about this being so late. It's very rare I ever miss a day like that. But things are basically back to normal now. So, playing catch up today. Alright, so number one here, working down from the 120 to the 60. So, we have 3 rhythmic variations. So there's 1, 2, 3. Basically changing where the half note is. So changing where we need to let things ring out for 2 beats. Alright. 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And of course, anything you need to single out to get more comfortable with, do so. That right there, I would guess, is the weirdest rhythm. Because it might feel kind of odd pausing in the middle of the bar. So you might want to single that out and just get comfortable with that. But that's really how you want to do any of this stuff. Anytime you got something that's feeling weird, that needs special attention, give it that special attention. Alright, let's play it at 90. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. And 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. All right. Number 2. So 180 is the max speed you're going to do for this. No faster. We're going to play it safe. So even if you feel like doing it, refrain, resist. Don't do it. Don't go past 180. So some stuff you can do, though, to help you get there. Because starting off at 180... Whoops. Oh, okay, here we go. Starting off at 180 might be asking a bit too much. And I'm going to play along to the track because this is too long to fit on screen. Well, actually, let me see. Hopefully this doesn't look too squished if I do it. Hang on. System layout. You know, I'm going to show you a little thing here since you're learning how to use Guitar Pro. Where is it? Display capture. Here it is. Oof, I didn't want to do that. Hang on. There. Okay. So I'm going to right click and then come down to bar and then down to system layout. So this you can change how many bars are on each line. So I'm going to try putting it on at 8. Alright. Not the most pleasant looking thing there, but I think that'll suffice for the recap anyway. So, stuff you can do. I would not work this up in 5s. That's going to take forever. Forget that. Now, any of these particular progressions, like maybe this one here is giving you the most trouble, you might want to work that up in 5s. But the entire thing in one go? No, that's way too much. Way too long. You could work it up in maybe 10s or 20s if you need to. Or, since you're going to be playing along with Guitar Pro, use the percentage feature up here. So, click on that. Then to the drop-down menu, put it on 50%. So this way, you start practicing at half speed of the whole thing. You can certainly set it lower if you need to. If you do need to, instead of picking one of the preset ones, come down here to custom value, and then you can just change it to whatever you want or type in what you want. So typically what I recommend people do for these types of things where it's kind of like an etude, basically something that is a little long, it's not terribly long, but longer than usual to address a specific thing. So that's what an etude is, basically a piece of music that addresses a technique or an idea. Yeah, starting these things off at 50%, and then when you're feeling good at playing the whole thing at 50%, then try it at 60%, and then 70, then 80, and then finally 100. So yeah, let's start by playing at the 50%, and let me see, turn this off. Yeah, I got that whole thing on there. All right, I'm just going to play along with the metronome so you hear just the chords and all that. So as far as like sending a video next time, I think it would be good is, well, yeah, if you can get the whole thing, I was going to say, that might be kind of a pain in the butt. Sorry, I'm like having too many thoughts go on with this right now. Probably going to be best if you play along to Guitar Pro to make sure you can see the whole progression. Maybe just play along on Guitar Pro, the 180. Yeah, just play along with that. If you need to try slower speeds at first in the video, that's fine. But see if you can hit that 180 by the last practice session that you get, or on the last practice session you got. All right, so yeah, 90 beats per minute. We're going to start with that today. All right, so here we go. Half speed of the total speed we're going to go for. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4. 1 and 2, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 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 4. Done. Alright, let's go full speed. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And number 3, the no metronome thing. Just want you to focus on good, clean sounding notes. So, nice and slow going through this. And yeah, keeping the stretch, the spread of those fingers as much as you can. So if you can have multiple fingers down at the same time, definitely do so. So basically, as you're going up, you'll keep those fingers down, and then take one off at a time as you descend the note stuff. So here's what we got. And just curious about something real quick. Now that I'm playing catch up today to get everyone's recaps taken care of, I just want to see if I sent you something something regarding mode stuff last time. I did that with a couple people this week. I did. We did start going over that. Okay. I need to go recap that as well. Let me pull those up. Mode and scale theory. Modes laid out, or modes in the circle. Okay, so open that. And let's change this. That's middle, not the right. Need the right. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, here we go. Alright, this thing, put together many, many years ago, definitely needs an update. But it's just the major scale formula going around in a circle. And this was to show students who asked, what scale shape am I supposed to use when doing improvisation? So like all those scale shapes that you're learning, because it's all the same 7 notes, it doesn't matter. That's why I like to lay it out in a circle to show that it's just going over and over and over again. So you play that first note in those 7 notes, in this case the C note, and just go around the circle. You just played the C major scale or the C Ionian mode. If you start on the second note in, the D note, go around the circle, you just played D Dorian. If you start on the third note, the E note, go around, you just played E Phrygian. So it doesn't matter if you go this way or that way or all over the place. It's the same 7 notes. So any of those scale shapes will work. So it does get a little more complicated with the modes versus just if you start here, go around, that's one mode. You start on the second note, go around, there's another mode. It is true. That is what's happening. But slightly more complex than that. But yeah, the major scale formula is what's laid out here. So from the root note, we go up a whole step to the second, whole step to the third, half step to the fourth, whole step to the fifth, whole to the sixth, whole step to the seventh, and a half step brings you back to the 1. And that's why you have the C major scale laid out here, so you can see that Well, basically that's all your natural notes. No sharps, no flats. So from C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. E to F is a half. F to G is a whole step. G to A is a whole step. A to B is a whole step. B to C is a half step. And then all this mode stuff down here is laid out in this way so you can see how closely related everything is. So those are the 7 different modes that are found or made within the major scale or major key. It's just a matter of take this step and stick it on the back, you got yourself Dorian. It's just one step down at a time. So, that C scale that you learned, that's all 7 modes within the major scale can be played in that. So, I'm just going to go root to root, so just C to C, and then back down. So that's the full Ionian mode, or C major scale right there. Everything else is just kind of extending it further in higher octaves. So the D Dorian shape that you're learning, if we just go D to D, that's all we really need to play a full D Dorian scale or mode. And then if we don't, well, to show how it's all within that one scale shape, basically I'm going to do this. So I'm going to keep it high up on the fretboard so I can play everything up here within the scale shape, because if we play down here the open position stuff and the lower octaves, it technically won't work because, well, the octaves are just different. Anyway, so all the 7 modes within this key. So you got the C Ionian, D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, or the minor scale, B Locrian. Again. Whoops, too far. All within that first scale shape you learned. So, doesn't matter where you start the mode stuff, because as long as you follow the correct number of notes or order of notes, you got the mode. Now, the other thing we looked at, or we started to, I don't think we got through the whole explanation, just started it. So this guy, you got all the notes laid out on one fretboard, all starting on the F note here. And once again, the major scale formula is laid out to start. So going from the root note up to the second notes, we go up a whole step, and then another whole step, half step, whole, half. So 2 whole steps and a half, 3 whole steps and a half, that's the major scale formula. And so intervals, we're going to talk about that a lot. So intervals are just a unit of measurement, a distance, and our intervals all come from the major scale. So whenever we deviate from what the major scale is, that's when we get things like flat intervals or sharp. Now, Lydian is the only mode that has a sharp 4 when it comes from the major scale. So there's a lot more modes than the 7 we're looking at right now. We'll get to that eventually, like when we get to harmonic minor. But yeah, 7 modes, this is it when it comes from the major scale. So every note within the major scale or major key can be the start of a mode. So, same number of notes every single fretboard here. You see the Dorian mode has a flat third and a flat 7. How do we know that's a flat third? Because the Ionian, that's where it all comes from. That's what the third interval is, also known as a major third. because this is a half step below that. That is a minor third interval, or flat third. Here, we can see that the 7th interval is a half step below octave of the root. And that's how it always goes. 7th interval is always a half step below the root note. But here, that note is a whole step below. That's why it's a flat 7. So, basically, like when you're starting to memorize these things, memorize what's different. So instead of memorizing Dorian as 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, just remember it's flat 3 and flat 7. Phrygian's got a lot of stuff. It's got a flat 2nd, flat 3rd, flat 6, and a flat 7. And like mentioned a moment ago, Lydian has a sharp 4. That's the only thing that's different between Ionian and Lydian. And Lydian's the 4th mode, has a sharp 4. That's going to come in handy later on. So Lydian, 4th mode, sharp 4. Lydian, 4th mode, has a sharp 4. Okay, Mixolydian, the only thing different here is a flat 7 compared to the Ionian mode. Aeolian has a flat 3rd, flat 6, and a flat 7. And then Locrian, everything except the 4 is flat. So, if we stay on the C note here as our tonal center, so we have the Ionian mode again. So let's go to Lydian next. So we just take the 4th note in and raise it up a half step. Now we have C Lydian. So go between the two now. So very small difference, but it does make a difference. Now let's go between Ionian and Mixolydian. So again, I'm going to take the 7th note and flat it. Ionian, and then Mixolydian. Now let's do a bigger change. So we'll go from Ionian to Dorian. So we're going to flat the 3rd note and the 7th note. So Ionian and then Dorian. Again. And then let's go from Dorian to Aeolian, because it's only one interval difference. So Dorian, then Aeolian. Again. And then Phrygian, well, we just take the 2nd note of the minor scale to the Aeolian and flat that. So Dorian, we took the 6th note and flatted it to make it Aeolian. Now Aeolian, we take the 2nd note and then flat that to get the Phrygian. And then Locrian, we can take that Phrygian mode and flat the 5, the 5th note in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the 5th note, and then flat that. So Phrygian to Locrian a couple times. Finish with Ionian there. Why not? So hopefully that makes some sense. I don't expect you to remember all that stuff right now. We're going to keep coming back to these ideas and implement them and all that stuff. But this is just a start. Reference this video whenever you need to, and the materials, of course. Any questions, let me know. I will see you again next week.